So what if you could change the entire world just by shifting your awareness? Sounds pretty big, right? Well, we're about to dive into a really passionate text that claims you can do just that. It lays out this simple but super powerful guide for transforming not just your own life, but, well, everything.
All right, so the source material we're looking at, it really doesn't pull any punches. It just throws this question right out there. Is our world out of sync? And it suggests, the evidence is pretty much everywhere, in the chaos and the division we see every single day. So let's take a look at some of the numbers it uses to back this up.
Okay, to make his point, the text brings up some pretty staggering numbers. First up, get this. A survey found that a full 80% of drivers admit to acts of road rage. Now, the argument here isn't just about bad traffic, right? It's that this is a symptom of something way deeper, a kind of agitation that's just everywhere.
And it's not just on the highway either. The source points to another survey with the exact same number. 80% of working people say they hate their jobs. So you see, when you put those two figures together, it really starts to paint this picture of a society where feeling frustrated and unhappy has kind of become the new normal.
So yeah, that brings us right to the first big idea from the source, its diagnosis of a world that's, well, a world on edge. Let's break down how it sees this central conflict playing out all around us.
In this slide, it just lays out the core tension perfectly. The argument is that anger has pretty much become our default mode. We're always putting gasoline on the fire. You see it with political division, you definitely see it in social media flame wars. It's all about this us versus them mindset. And then, on the other side, you have kindness. The source presents it as the antidote, the thing that builds bridges, helps us find peaceful solutions, and just diffuses all that conflict.
So here's the really crucial point. The source argues that the consequence of all this anger isn't just a bad mood. It's a fundamental loss of who we really are. Without kindness, it says, we lose our basic nature of love and compassion. We literally get disconnected from our true selves.
Okay, so now that the problem has been laid out pretty clearly, the text pivots to the solution. And it presents something that it calls both simple and kind of radical. The prescription? The answer is kindness.
But wait, what does the source actually mean by kindness? Because it's not just about being nice or polite. It's defined as something way, way deeper. It's called the intelligence of life, and even the building block of the entire universe. The idea is that it's this fundamental state of awareness that connects, well, everything.
Now, the author totally gets how this might sound. They know that for a lot of people, hearing kindness is the answer seems, a little too simple, right? Simple enough to just roll your eyes at. But the text really asks us to just hang on for a second and look past that initial reaction.
And to make this whole idea a little more concrete, the source gives us this great central metaphor. It says that choosing kindness, even just for a moment, is like planting a seed. It's this one small act, but if you water it every day, pay attention to it with your words and actions, it can grow into something incredibly powerful.
Which brings us from the why right to the how. So how do you actually do this? This next part is all about the practical steps for cultivating that seed of kindness inside you. The source calls it the inner garden practice.
And according to the text, there is one main tool to get this done: meditation. Now, it's framed not as some big spiritual thing, but as a really practical technique for learning how to control your mind. It literally says, meditation is the key to tapping into kindness. So here it is, a super simple 5-step practice. You start by just finding a comfortable spot and focusing on your breath. Easy enough. But the real key here is step 4, taking that calm awareness with you into your daily life. Like when you're stuck in traffic. And then the last step is using that calm state to forgive past stuff, or, as the author calls it, weeding the inner garden.
All right, so what happens if people actually start doing this? What's the end game here? This last section is all about the vision for the huge ripple effect this kind of interchange could have on the entire world.
And the vision here, it's nothing short of radical. It imagines a world that's been completely transformed. A world where all the problems that come from anger, we're talking war, crime, school shootings, bullying, they've all just vanished. It's a future where our inner worlds are taken care of, and so things like education become free and become the most valued thing we have.
And to really ground this whole idea, to show how universal it is, the text brings in this powerful quote from the Dalai Lama, "Kindness is my religion." It's a perfect way of saying that this idea goes way beyond any single belief system. It's about a fundamental human truth.
And that's where this explainer leaves us, right where the source material does, with a question, and it's aimed directly at you.
After all this, after diagnosing the problem and laying out a practice, it really all boils down to this one simple personal challenge. What if you planted a seed of kindness today? Just imagine what might grow from it.